Hey, are you guys ready? No, Mrs. Talbot, we're not ready. Okay, so let's start with this one. I want to show my little list of perfect squares. Um, okay, so when you multiply two roots together, you multiply what's underneath the roots to each other, but the 5 is going to go in front. So the first thing we do is we put the 5 in front because it's not inside a square root. And then we multiply the 8 and 10 to get 80. Okay, any questions about that? Shh. Okay, now, um, what what is 80 divisible by? Let's check. Shh. You know, you have a gift. You have a gift. Okay, so 4. 9 is a nope. 16 and 5 it is. I wish I was born with you. I don't have your mental math brain. I don't have it. Very impressive. Almost as impressive as like being able to paint one of my favorite characters on a pot or something. Hi. Okay, so 5 times 4 times square root 5, 20 square root 5. Okay, now, did I mention to you guys just how important this skill is? Briefly. Okay, so yesterday we had a math 3 quiz. It's interesting because they're doing sequences and series just like you guys are, but they're doing it in a harder way. And their quiz, one of the problems, I just want to show it to you. Right there, the 40 to the 2 root 10. That's exactly what you guys are learning right now. This skill is never going away. So, yes, child, this is math 1. So, I really want to make sure that no one gives up on the simplifying square roots. It goes all the way to calculus. Okay. Moving down. Number 8. Distance, midpoint. Okay, let's make our little triangle. Seven boxes on the height. 3 boxes on the base. Seven squared plus 3 squared equals c squared. 49 plus 9 equals c squared. Okay, 58. Is that divisible by anything on the list? I don't think so. So 58 divided by 4. Nope. 58 divided by 9. Nope. 58 divided by 16. Nope-a-rama. 58 divided by 25. Nope-a-lopa ding dong. 58 divided by 36. Here's a little hint, by the way. Once your number gets half of the original number, then you can stop. You don't have to go any further. But okay, this is a fun one. And I know um I know past Mrs. Talbot pretty well. And past Mrs. Talbot, I'm sure, put this problem on here because we wanted to talk about what happens when they don't simplify. The exact answer is just square root 58. Don't freak out. It's just already simplified. You feel like you have to do something with it, but you don't have to when it doesn't divide. Okay, but square root 58 is approximately 7.6. Okay, next midpoint. So the base is 3, so I'm going to go over 1.5. And the height is 7, so I'm going to go up 3.5. Let's see if I can see them for you. Over 1.5, up 1, 2, 3.5. So right there. Okay, what point is that? What point is this? What coordinate is that? Fantastic. You're on fire, sir. Not literally. No need to stop, drop, and roll. Okay. Any questions about either of those two warm-ups? Okay, now let's look at the stamp sheet side, please. You could flip to your stamp sheet. So we're doing 3 problems in our notebook. The notes is embedded in there. It's not separate, which is great. Then the rest of the period is going to be independent work time. I need you to work on the digital escape and submit that and get that stamped. And whatever is not finished is your homework. Does that make sense? You guys already saw the digital escape is posted, correct? Did you guys all start it Tuesday? If you didn't, it's fine. You're gonna have tons of time and I'm here to help. Okay. So 36 through 38 is in our notebook. I didn't bring it because I know I have a bunch of them. Okay, so for number 36, I want to go really, really slow because there are parts of the digital escape that are kind of spicy that you may have noticed already. It's asking you like to make a percent into a multiplier. And that we were supposed to teach you beforehand today during this, even though some of you guys started it, it's fine. I'm hoping that this will help that conversation out a lot. So I want to go kind of slow. I want you to think about this as a bank account. So somebody has $8,427 and then they have $8,932.62. Whoever they are is very lucky. I like it. My question is this going to be uh arithmetic or geometric? Meaning, am I adding or am I multiplying? Geometric, right? And you can tell because it goes into a weird decimal. Okay, so first thing we want to talk about is that this is geometric. And geometric sequences of compound interest. Now, this is the notes that I was referring to. So geometric has compound interest. And compound interest is y equals ab to the x. And when you graph it, it makes a curve. Okay, now I'm going to get out my pink pen. If you have another color on you, I suggest getting that out. If you don't, that's totally okay too. How can I figure out the multiplier? I can't look at this. Beautiful. Okay, so to find the multiplier, I'm going to do it over here. I'm going to undo the multiplication with division. So I'm going to say, what is 89, 32, 62 over 84, 27? Okay, so my multiplier is 1.06. For those of you that have started working on the digital escape, if my multiplier is 1.06, what is my interest rate? Nice. Great job. Okay, now I want to find the equation. That's the last thing I'm going to do for this problem. And to find the equation, so I'm going to take this pink pen that I told you guys I was going to get out, and I'm going to put times 1.06 right there. To find the equation, I need to find term 0, which doesn't really exist. So I put it in pink with a line under it so I don't get confused that it's the first term, because it's not the first term. The first term is 8427. It's term 0. If I'm multiplying by 1.06 to go down the sequence, what do I do to go backwards? Divide. Great. Okay, so I'm going to go 84. Whoa, what did I just type? 8427 divided by 1.06. So term 0 is 7950. And that was the initial amount that this person must have put in the bank. Okay, so my equation is T of n equals the initial amount times 1.06 to the n. I want you to think of it y equals ab to the x, but we write it in the fancy sequence notation. Okay, now if I graphed these numbers here on a graph, what shape would it make? Curve. Nice. Me likey. Okay, any questions about A? I know I'm going really slow, but I'm doing it on purpose, and we only have 3 problems to do, so it's not a big deal. Okay, what is happening in B? Landon? Correct. Arithmetic because it's going up by 12, you can tell each time. And that means that it is simple interest. And my equation is going to look like y equals mx plus b. Okay, so now we're working backwards. What was the initial amount that was put in the bank? 300. Okay, now this is a little different. We haven't found the interest rate for something that's simple interest. And what you do is you say, okay, you take the amount of growth divided by the first amount that was put in. So let me show you what it looks like. What interest rate is this? 4%. And it looks a little different because it's not a multiplier. Simple interest is really, really simple. Okay, last thing, equation. T of n equals, okay, initial amount. I don't want that first. I want this first. Growth n plus initial amount. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, number 37. Okay, everything that we talked about in this class so far has been yearly. Yearly is the simplest. It doesn't get you the most money though. You get more money the more often something is compounded. Okay, and we don't really talk about quarters of a year in school. That's actually a lie. I guess we just did it in the third quarter, but in business, we talk about quarters a lot. Okay, so how many months are in a year? 12. Okay, and quarterly means every 3 months. A lot of businesses have quarterly cycles or quarterly reports that they have to turn in with how much money they made. So quarterly is a very common thing to use in the real world, not quite so much in school. But we need to figure out how to work with something when it's not just every year, when it's more often. Okay, what you do is you take your 8% compounding and you divide it into 4 equal pieces because it says quarters. So quarters means 4. And that means that you get 2% per quarter. Don't think of it like money. Think of it like 3 months, 2% every 3 months. Okay, and when you write your equation for this, we're going to be very specific. We're going to say T of n equals initial amount. That's too little. It's supposed to be 1,000. Man, I really shortchanged whoever put in the 1,000. I said they did 100. Wrong. 1,000. Okay, what would be the multiplier for 2% compound interest? 1.02. Okay, how do you do this? You go 100% plus 2% is 102%. And then move the decimal over 2 spots. 1.02. Okay, but most of you guys, if you're working on the digital escape already, you don't need to show that math, but You don't put an N here, you put a Q because it's quarterly. It's just a reminder for you to know that, oh, it's not yearly. When did the last time you got to use a Q in math class? Like never. It's fun. Okay, so we want to find out how much money this person is going to have in 4 years. I don't want to plug 4 in though, because that's quarters. I was very specific with the Q. How many quarters are in 4 years? Nice. Okay, so now we're going to plug it in. Okay, quick question. Does everyone in the room know where the exponent button is on whatever calculator they're going to use? Really important that you know where that exponent button is. Am I going to tell you where the exponent button is on the next test or quiz? Nah, definitely not going to do that. Because that would have been a great question for the day before. Okay, now, the most important test of the day, just for the real world. When it's money, and we want to look like, we've actually not just had a plastic rectangle in our life. You guys know what I mean by that? The debit card. Okay, what do I round to? That one. Hundredths is the penny. Okay, and now look at the 8. Everyone look at the 8. You see the 8. The number next to it is a 5. So, yes, the 8 becomes a 9. Yes, yes, yes. That it is so much more important than any of the rest of this stuff. I don't even remember what the number was. I got so excited. Okay. So on your last test, this is an I love you but moment. We've discussed this before, right? The I love you but moment. Okay. Just that my family is sensitive, and if you're going to criticize anyone in our family, you have to say I love you but first. It's a rule. Okay, anyway, many of you, many, countless on your last test did that apples problem or the pears problem and wrote like $16.9. Yeah, you should be $16.96. Like a little part of my soul just went like, oh, technology is ruining us. I don't blame you guys. I blame the rectangle, except for that I love the rectangle at the same time. So yeah, it doesn't even feel like you're buying anything. Okay. Now, someone gave me a super great hint yesterday. They said, leave all of your money in your checking account, but if you buy something stupid, only do it in cash because then it feels like you didn't do that. Genius. Listen. Yes, you may. You're like, I did not sign up for money making class. Yeah. I figured you could learn from my many, many money mistakes. Many. Maybe though. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not done making that mistake yet. Okay. One more problem, then we're done. Yay. Okay. Number 38. You have $500 to invest that Mrs. Talbot hasn't stolen and spent on squishmallows, and it's several options available to you. Your banker shows you the graph at right to explain what you can earn if you invest in him. Does this graph represent simple or compound interest? Okay, think of the shape it's making on the graph? Simple, right, okay. All right, so simple interest on this one. And how can you tell? Because it's a line. Yep, great job. Okay. Yeah. Oh, nice. You know what that's gonna make me say? Teacher. Okay, now I want to go back to the picture and see if you guys can tell me the equation of the line from the picture. Okay, can I ask you what B is, the y-intercept? 500, yep. Okay, and how much is it going up each year? 100? Okay, this wasn't meant to be complicated. You guys are making it complicated. Okay, so T of N equals 100 and plus 500. Okay, now, how do we find the interest rate for simple interest? Yep, so scroll up. Okay, interest rate is the growth over the initial amount. So the growth, I don't really need to type this in the calculator. I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm still doing it. Okay, now this one doesn't have a zero in front. That makes it a 20% interest rate, which is completely unlikely. You'll never get a 20% interest rate on a bank account. It's not going to happen. You're more in the 2 to 4% range is realistic. The CPM book thinks that banks are much nicer than they actually are. Can you guys all see where I got the 20% though from the 0.2? Yes, you're here. Everybody good with the 0.2 being 20%? Okay. All right, B,
What does 1.16 equal?
16%.
No, 1.16.
Well, one point,
That's 116.
yes, you're right, Which is 16% if you're talking about compound interest. But let's not confuse ourselves. Okay, B. Jerry says, I've got my money in a great account that compounds interest monthly. The equation y equals 388 times 1.008 to the m represents how much money I have at the end of any month. Do you guys see the little m that he used for months? Okay, write an equation to represent your total money if you invest your $500 in an account with the same rate of return. Let M represent the number of months the money has been invested. Okay, so same rate of return means that we're going to use the same multiplier here, except we're going to change the 388 to 500. That problem is so easy. I don't even understand. Why did I leave so much room for it? Maybe it's because C is going to, that's the whole, cool, cool. Um, is that really all it asks? One second. Yeah, 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 I don't know what happened there. Oh, you're the best. Okay. Okay, so this is move the decimal over 2 spots, so 1.008. So we move it here, here. So it's 0.8% per month. Okay, and how many months are in a year? Mm-hmm. There it is. There's where I needed the space. Jalen, did you go to bed early? Is that pretty normal? Is it early? Do you want to be like an investment banker when you grow up? You're just really, really good at this. Okay, almost done. An investment advisor shows you the table of earnings. You see it right. Write an equation for the table, letting Q represent the number of quarters the money has invested. What is the annual interest rate? Okay, so let's look at this table here. I'm going to write T of N equals, what was his initial amount in the table? 500. And how do I find the rate from a table? What, honey? Oh, yeah. Just a second. I just want you to look at the table real quick. How do I get the rate from the table? Divide, right? Okay. So over here, I'm going to go B equals 515 over 500. And then I'm going to make sure to make that a Q so I can tell that that's quarters. Okay, how do I make this into his annual interest rate? What should I multiply if it's quarters? I multiplied by 12 for months. 4. Now D is too high. Oh, I thought, yeah, I see what you were, why you said that. Other type of quarter. Okay, D. D is asking which one of these is the best. Okay, so they want to trick you into thinking A. They're trying to trick you. But think about simple interest makes a line. Compound interest makes a curve, and the curve is going to go up. Simple interest never wins. So that's immediately gone. What's the better of the two out of B and C? C, correct. So you always want to choose compound with the highest interest rate. And that's it.